Right. So in the last class, we have seen how to draw the equivalent circuit when the data was given. Okay, how to find out the parameters referred to one side, maybe LV side or HV side, whatever it may be. So using the open circuit and short circuit uh, test data available to us, we can determine all the parameters of the equivalent circuit. Okay, so now we are clear with the equivalent circuit. So after that, we will see what is called as voltage regulation and how to calculate the efficiency of a transformer. Right. So these topics we will discuss. Right. So coming to voltage regulation. So the basic idea of this voltage regulation is, if you have a transformer, right, on the input side, let's say something like 2500 volts is given. On the secondary side, it was rating is something like 230 volts. Okay, right. So this 230 volts. Okay, so what is the voltage that is coming to your house? Single phase voltage RMS value
230 volt.
230 volts.
230 volts. But if you see, they will specify that it is not exactly 230 volts. They will say 230 volts plus or minus 5% or 230 volts plus or minus 10%. Okay, right. So some percentage of error will be there with respect to what is specified. Okay, so that will be coming because of drop in the line, distribution line we will call it, which is coming from the transformer to your house. Okay, right. So some amount of voltage drop will be there in the line. That means external to the transformer, from the secondary of the transformer to uh, I mean to your house. Okay, to house meter, energy meter. Okay, so that is called drop due to distribution line. Okay, and if you see, even though at the transformer, I'm talking about transformer now, I'm not talking about the distribution line. Okay, so even though when the transformer was rated like 2500 by 230 volts, okay, that means at the secondary of the terminals, it is specifying that it is 230 volts. Okay, but if you exactly measure the voltage on the secondary side, it may not be 230 volts, it will have some amount of change. Okay, right. So that change which is going to occur with respect to the specified value. Okay, so ideally I want 230 volts at the output of the transformer, but it may not be that exact value. There will be a slight change. Okay, so that change which is occurring, that is called as voltage regulation. Okay, we will see why it is occurring. Okay, so that voltage regulation is what we are going to see now. Okay, it is defined as, I think something is here. It is defined as a change in magnitude of secondary terminal voltage. Secondary terminal voltage means that's what output of the transformer at the terminals. Okay, expressed as the percentage of secondary rated voltage. Okay, when the load at a given power factor is reduced to 0. Okay, when the primary applied voltage is held constant. So what did you understand from this? When the primary voltage is held constant, that means primary is rated for some voltage. That voltage we are going to fix. Okay, we are applying that voltage on the primary side. On the secondary side, what you are doing is you have connected one load of some specific power factor. Okay, and suddenly, and you have measured the voltage at the load terminals. Load terminals means immediately after the transformer. Okay, on the secondary side, some value you got. Next, what you have done is I have simply disconnected the load. That means open circuit. Right. At that instant, you will again measure the voltage. Okay, so those two voltages will not be same. They are going to have some difference. Okay, so that is called as voltage regulation. So it is defined as a change in magnitude of the secondary terminal voltage. Secondary terminal voltage means voltage at the secondary of the transformer, expressed as the percentage of secondary rated voltage. Okay, right? When the load at a given power factor is reduced to 0. Load is reduced means simply load is disconnected. Okay. When the primary applied voltage is held constant. Okay. Can anyone say what is the difference between secondary terminal voltage and secondary rated voltage? You understood, right? Secondary terminal voltage and secondary rated voltage. Okay. So both are related to the secondary winding only. That means at the output of the transformer across the secondary, you are going to measure it. Okay. Both are related to the same point. Okay. That means measure at the same nodes. But the difference is terminal voltage is a term when the load is connected. Okay. Right. And rated voltage is when the load is not connected. That means no load. You are understanding now? So that means because of the connection of the load, there is a change in the voltage across the secondary of the transformer. Okay. When there is no load, we call it as rated voltage. That means what is given on the nameplate of your transformer. That is called as rated voltage. When the load is connected, some voltage change will occur with respect to this rated value. So that is called as terminal voltage. Okay. Both are terminal voltages only. One without load, one with load. Okay. When it is without load, we can call it as secondary terminal voltage under no load condition, or straight away you can call it as secondary rated voltage. Okay. Right. So one load is connected is one scenario, and when the load is disconnected, that is another thing. Okay. Right. So V2 is generally the term given for the secondary terminal voltage at any load. Okay. That is called as V2. We have already seen, right? At the load terminals, you will have V2. Same V2, when the load is not connected, you will call it as E2. Okay. They are not going to be same V2 and E2. Okay. So V2 is a secondary terminal voltage at any load, and E2 is a secondary terminal voltage at no load. Okay. So the second term, which is E2, is also called as secondary rated voltage. Okay. You understand the difference between E2 and V2, right?
Yes, sir.
E2 is secondary terminal voltage under no load, which is also called as secondary rated voltage. V2 is called as secondary terminal voltage at any load. Okay. Right. So voltage regulation is defined as, based on this definition, as E2 minus V2 divided by secondary rated voltage. Secondary rated voltage is nothing but E2. Okay. Since the secondary rated voltage of the transformer is equals to the secondary terminal voltage at no load, which is given as E2, you define voltage regulation, percentage voltage regulation, as E2 minus V2 divided by E2 into 100. This is called as percentage voltage regulation. Okay. So why this change is going to occur? In the numerator, some finite value is going to come. Why it is going to occur? Any guess why it is going to occur? Right. So why it is occurring is from this point, the change in the secondary terminal voltage with load current is due to primary and secondary leakage impedance of the transformer. Okay. So transformer have primary and secondary leakage impedances. That means R1 and JX1, R2 and JX2. Okay. So these impedances are, when the current is flowing, they are going to create a drop, okay, across them. So that drop which is occurring is nothing but E2 minus V2. Okay. So the magnitude of this change depends upon the load power factor, load current, total resistance, and total leakage reactance of the transformer. Got it. So this, in the numerator, E2 minus V2 has getting some finite value because of the presence of resistance and leakage reactance in the transformer windings, and it depends on the load current also, right, and load power factor also. So because of these things, that change is going to occur. Right. In distribution transformer is one what you are going to see in the on the in your locality. Okay, that is called as a distribution transformer. Okay. So distribution transformer should have small value of voltage regulation. That means this numerator should be as small as possible. Okay, small value of voltage regulation, that is considered as good voltage regulation, right? So that the terminal voltage at the consumer's terminals does not vary widely as the load changes. Okay, that means for a distribution transformer we should have very small value of voltage regulation. That indicates it's a good voltage regulation. Okay, if it is very small, then the voltage 230 volts which was shown now, so that error will be less. It will not deviate much from the 230 volts. Okay, so always distribution transformers are designed with an objective to minimize this voltage regulation. Okay, so that at the consumer terminal, if it is 230, so it will come close to 230. Okay, if this voltage regulation is more, then that will deviate from 230 volts to a larger value. Got it? Right. So now we will see how to calculate voltage regulation. We have already stated that it is because of resistance and leakage reactance present in your transformer. So obviously that difference we are going to calculate. So the voltage regulation of a transformer can be obtained from its simplified approximate equivalent circuit referred to secondary. We have already seen what is this simplified approximate equivalent circuit referred to secondary. Okay. Simplified means there is no shunt branch also. Okay, shunt branch is removed. After that, this is your equivalent circuit of the transformer. Okay, with all the parameters referred to secondary side. Okay, so if you consider a lagging power factor load, okay, so this is the equivalent circuit and the corresponding phasor diagram is shown here. How to draw the phasor diagram? Right, so consider this as a circuit. So don't consider it as a transformer or something like that. You have a resistive voltage, some current is flowing, you have resistance and reactance, and E2 is there. Okay, so how to draw the phasor diagram? If you consider a lagging power factor load, this is your terminal voltage V2, and the current which is flowing in the load will lag your V2 by an angle of theta 2, right? Since we are considering a lagging power factor load, right? So after that, you have a resistance drop and you have a reactance drop. I have already told resistance drop will be in phase or in parallel to your secondary current I2, right? Because it's a resistance, it should have voltage and current should be in phase. Okay, so this is the voltage because of resistance and this is the current flowing in that resistance, so they should be in phase, so obviously they will be in parallel. And reactance, voltage should lead your current by 90 degrees. Okay, so it should be something 90 degrees leading with respect to I2. So that's the reason it was drawn in this fashion. Right. After that, the addition of all these three is nothing but your E2 phasor. So that's why it is E2. Got it? So this theta 2 will be same as this theta 2. Is it clear with this phasor diagram? Any doubt in this, or phasor diagram is fine?
No doubt, sir.
You're able to hear me, right?
Yes, sir. No doubt.
Okay. Okay then. So this is your simplified equivalent circuit and the corresponding phasor diagram I have shown here. Now we have to find out the difference between magnitude difference between E2 and V2. If you do that, then you are going to get the numerator for your voltage regulation calculation, that is E2 minus V2. Okay, so from this phasor diagram, okay, if the E2 is projected onto this, because it's only the magnitude difference, it's not the phasor difference. Okay, so E2 will be equals to OF, right? I have given some name, so it is called as OF, which is approximately equals to OC. I am considering. Okay, approximately I am going to do. Okay, right. So if you find out OC, and the difference between OC and OA is nothing but your E2 minus V2, right? So I am considering a little bit approximation here. E2 should be, exactly speaking, it should be OF, but I am considering OC, okay, because the error will be small. So that is the assumption I am taking. So we have to calculate the value of OC, okay. So try to find out that OC value in terms of RE2 I2 and XE2 I2. You are understanding, right? Angle theta 2 is known to you, so you can find out, consider this as one triangle and find out what will be this one, and this is one more right angle triangle. Find out what is this value. Please try to do that. Find the value of OC from the phasor diagram shown here in terms of V2, maybe I2, RE2 and I2, XE2. You're trying to do right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So please find the value of OC from this phasor diagram. Okay, so what will be AB from this phasor diagram? AB.
RE2 cos theta.
I2. Can you repeat it one more time?
RE2
Cos
cos theta 2.
Okay, so I2 RE2 cos of theta 2. That is your AB. What about BC?
Sin theta 2.
I2 into XE2. Right. Okay, so E2 is approximately equals to V2 plus I2 RE2 into cos of theta 2 plus I2 XE2 into sin of theta 2. Is it correct?
No, sir,
Yes,
minus.
That's what. Did everyone got idea regarding this? So this is your right angle triangle and you know the angle theta 2. So simply apply cos function, then you will get I2 RE2 into cos of theta 2. That is nothing but AB. Again, this is theta 2, right? Because these two are parallel lines. So you can calculate, it will become again theta 2. So sin theta, if you apply, then again this BC, which is equals to B dash C dash, will be I2 XE2 into sin of theta 2, right? So E2, which is approximately equals to OC, is equals to OA plus AB plus BC, which is also equals to B dash C dash. So you are going to get V2 plus I2 RE2 into cos of theta 2 plus I2 XE2 into sin of theta 2, right? Got it. So nothing much is there, only you have to find out what is theta 2 to find out this second term, right? So as per the definition, the voltage regulation is given as E2 minus V2, which is equals to I2 RE2 into cos of theta 2 plus I2 XE2 into sin of theta 2. So this is the voltage difference. So to find out percentage voltage regulation, you have to divide this with E2 and multiply with 100. Okay, so note that E2 and V2 is not equal to AD, because if you see here, AD is this one. Okay, it's a phasor, right? But for voltage regulation, it's only the magnitude that is required, not the phasor. Okay, right. The change in the secondary terminal voltage is equal to the magnitude of E2 minus the magnitude of V2. That's what we have calculated now, right? So voltage regulation, percentage voltage regulation is given by this expression for a lagging power factor load. Got it? So I hope everyone got this. I2 RE2 into cos of theta 2 plus I2 X into sin of theta 2. So nothing much is there in that. If you see the phasor diagram, you can straight away get it. Right. So this is for lagging power factor load. Okay. So same thing if you apply for a leading power factor load. Okay. So then you will observe that your phasor diagram current will be in this direction. Okay. And similarly, if you draw the phasor diagram and try to solve it, then you will understand that I am not showing the phasor diagram. You will understand that E2 minus V2 will be, everything will be same. Only thing is you will get a minus sign in between. Here you have got plus, here you will get minus sign. Okay, right. If you want to clarify that, you can draw the phasor diagram and try to check it out. So you will get I2 RET into cos of theta 2 plus I2 minus I2 XET into sin of theta 2 for a leading power factor load. Okay, got it. So this is the percentage voltage regulation for leading power factor load, and for lagging power factor load is shown here. Okay, so this is called as voltage regulation. So it depends upon your current value, current flowing in the winding, resistance of the winding, both the windings, reactance of both the windings, and also the power factor angle theta 2. That means the nature of the load what you have connected. Right. So this is called as voltage regulation, and ideally we want this voltage regulation to be as minimum as possible. If it is 0 also, it's very good for us. Right. So I hope you got it. So we will see one problem based on this. Okay. So try to solve this. A 20 kVA 2500 by 500 volts 50 Hz single phase transformer has the following parameters. Okay. High voltage winding side, they have given the resistance R1 and the reactance X1. Low voltage side, that means 500 volt side, they have given R2 and X2. Okay. Find the voltage regulation and the secondary terminal voltage at full load for a power factor of 0.8 lagging and 0.8 leading. Okay, right. So try to solve this. They're asking us to find out the voltage regulation first thing. Okay, and the secondary terminal voltage. That means they're asking us percentage voltage regulation and V2 also for two conditions. One is 0.5, 0.8 lagging and 0.8 leading. Okay, so first of all, you transfer all the parameters onto the secondary side. Right, so R1 and X1 needs to be transferred to secondary side. So find out R1 dash and X1 dash. then you will get the approximate equivalent, simplified approximate equivalent circuit, which we have already seen. So try to calculate that R1 dash and X1 dash. So what is the value of R1 dash and X1 dash? You are able to hear me, right?
Yes, sir. 1 minute.
So first find out R1 dash and X1 dash.
Sir, R1 dash is 0.32 ohms.
0.32. So it will be something like 8 into 500 divided by 2500 whole square, right? You are transferring
Yes, sir.
resistance from R1 to R2. So it should be 500 divided by 2500 whole square into 8. Okay. So you are saying something like 0.32 or 0.032?
Sir, 0.32. 0.32.
0.32. Okay. What about reactance X1? I mean X1 dash.
Sir, 68. 0.68.
0.68. Okay. So let's see that. Right. So RE2, which is nothing but R2 plus R1 dash. Okay. So R2 is already 0.3 and R1 dash is 8 into 500 divided by 2500 whole square. So you are going to get overall value of 0.62 ohms. Okay. So that means this is 0.32 and this is 0.3. So total 0.62 ohms. Similarly, equivalent reactance referred to secondary. So if you calculate that, maybe someone has told 0.68, so that is correct. Right, so 1.38 you are going to get. So the total equivalent reactance referred to secondary. Okay. So now in the formula what we have seen for voltage regulation, you know the value of RE2, you know the value of XE2, and you know the power factor. Maybe for one case it is 0.8 lagging. So what else is missing to be found? You
I2.
understand? I2. So I2 you should know to find out the voltage regulation. Okay. So try to calculate I2. What will be that value? So what will be I2? How you can find out I2? Right, we have already seen how to calculate I2. Secondary rated current. Right. So from that nameplate details, 20 kVA is already given to you, and the secondary rated voltage is also mentioned, which is 500 volts. So 20K divided by 500, that will give you your secondary current I2. So what will be that value? 20K divided by 500.
40.
40
40 amperes.
Okay. So 40 amperes is your secondary current. Right. And you know RE2, XE2 and the power factor angle also. So I think you should be able to use that formula and find out the voltage regulation for lagging power factor load. So try to calculate that. So try to calculate the voltage regulation. First try to calculate the difference, that means E2 minus V2, which is I2 RE2 into cos of theta 2 plus I2 XE2 into sin of theta 2 for lagging power factor load.
Sir,
So
E2 minus V2 is 32 volts.
32 volts. That means I2 RE2 into cos of theta 2 plus I2 XE2 into sin of theta 2 you have done, right?
No, sir. No, sir. Wait. There.
I think you should be able to do this by now.
Voltage regulation 10.6.
10.6. That means that difference you are saying, or you are
No, sir,
saying the
voltage regulation.
percentage voltage regulation.
Sir.
Okay. So what is the difference E2 minus V2 for 0.8 lagging load? How much?
52.9.
52.9. Okay. Let's see that. Okay. So for lagging power factor load, the full load voltage drop. Okay. It's full load because the current what you have calculated I2 is the rated current. So that's why you call it as full load voltage drop in the secondary terminal voltage. For this power factor is E2 minus V2 is this formula what you have already seen, I to R e into cos of theta 2 plus I to x e into sin of theta 2. So you know all the terms in this. So if you do that, you are going to get 52.96 volts. Okay. So the secondary terminal voltage, if you ask, so that will be equals to, that means E2 you know it is 500. So V2 you bring that side and take this one on the other side. So you'll get 500 minus 52.96, so which is 447.04 volts. That means from an ideal value of secondary terminal voltage, which is expected to be 500 volts, in reality you are going to get only 447 volts. Okay, right, this much deviation you are getting because of the current and the leakage reactance present in your transformer winding for 0.8 power factor lagging load. Okay, if you want to calculate the percentage regulation, so this difference divided by rated secondary terminal voltage, which is nothing but E2. So that means 52.96 divided by 500 into 100. That will give you percentage voltage regulation. Okay. So this is only voltage regulation, which is 0.105. So if you want to percentage, multiply with 100, so it will be something like 10.5. Okay. So this is the voltage regulation for 0.8 power factor lagging load. Got it. So this much deviation you are going to get for this kind of load for the given transformer. Got it. For distribution transformer, we want this deviation to be as minimum as possible. Okay. Right. So now part B, for leading power factor load, try to calculate this voltage regulation. Everything remains same. Only thing is you will have minus sign here. E2 minus V2 expression. So try to calculate the difference first and then find the voltage regulation for 0.8 leading.
For voltage regulation 0.026.
0.026. What is the difference between E2 and V2 here? This value. That means simply place minus sign here and calculate what is that.
Sir,
Sir, it will
minus
come out to be
13.2 volt.
How much? Minus
Minus
13.3.
13.3.
minus 13.3 volts. So that means the difference between these two is some negative value. Okay. Right. So others also please try to do that. You will get some negative value. So if you calculate that, you are going to get minus 13.28 or approximately minus 13.3 volts. So this is the difference in the secondary terminal voltage. Okay. So from that you can calculate E2 value or V2 value. Okay. So if you transfer all these things onto one side, you will get V2 is equals to 500 plus 13.28. So it is 513.28 volts you are going to get. And if you calculate the voltage regulation, it will be minus 0.0265. Right. So you'll get this value. So that means it is negative. So what it means? Your secondary terminal voltage will be more than the rated value what is given on the transformer. Okay. So it will be higher than the 500 volts. That's what we have seen. It is 513 volts. Okay. So this is possible if you have a capacitive nature load connected and it is good enough, then you will have a value more than 500. Okay, got it. So this is how you have to calculate the voltage regulation for lagging and leading reactive power loads. Okay, and these formulas are coming from the phasor diagram, what we have already seen, and the phasor diagram is coming from the simplified approximate equivalent circuit. That means your excitation current is neglected. Okay, usually for large transformers they use this kind of methodology for ease of calculation. Okay, right. So I hope you understood this, how to find out the voltage regulation and the secondary terminal voltage also. Right. So anyone has doubt in this, or we can go ahead?
So
Okay, fine. Okay, then we'll move ahead. So next important thing is transformer efficiency. Okay, so we have already seen what are the losses present in a transformer, and we have already seen how to calculate the losses also. So using two basic tests, which is open circuit test or no load test, another one is short circuit test. So once you have conducted these two tests on your transformer, okay, you can calculate the transformer efficiency before you connect the transformer into your system. Okay, right. So how to calculate that efficiency? Okay, so efficiency is generally given as the ratio of output power to input power. Right. So general definition, right? So efficiency is output power by input power. What will be the output power? Secondary terminal voltage is V2, secondary current is I2, that is nothing but V into cos phi. Okay, so secondary power factor angle is theta 2, so V2 I2 into cos of theta 2 will be your secondary output power in watts. Got it. So what will be the input? Input will be output plus losses existing in the transformer, because the losses are only trying to reduce your output power from the input value. Okay, right. So input will be output plus losses existing in the transformer. There are two types of losses. One is core loss denoted with PC, and this core loss is constant. Whether the load is connected or not, this value remains same. And the second part is copper loss or ohmic loss, which is given as I2 square RE2. Okay, right. So that terminology is already given here. PC is the total core loss, I2 square RE2 is the total copper loss. There is a difference between rated copper loss and total copper loss. Okay, I use the term total to indicate that it is the losses existing in both primary and secondary. Okay, so I2 square RE2 is an indication that these are the losses existing in primary and secondary. That means both are included in this. Okay, that's what it means, but it is not specifying that I2 is the rated current. Got it. I2 is not the rated current, may not be rated current. Okay, it's a general formula. Current flowing in the secondary winding, it depends upon the load, how much you have connected. Okay, so accordingly some current will flow. When that current is flowing, that current square into RE2, that is the total copper loss in the transformer. Okay, but it may not be rated copper loss. It will be rated copper loss only when I2 is equals to I rated. Okay, so that difference you should understand. Okay, right. So this is a general formula given at any load, not at full load, not at rated current. Okay, right. So V2 into I2 is output volt amperes, and cos of theta 2 is the load power factor angle. Right. So efficiency can also be expressed as output by input or input minus loss divided by input. That's the same formula we are, expressing in different ways. That's all. So finally, efficiency is 1 minus losses divided by input. Okay, you can use either this formula or this formula, whatever it may be. Right. Okay, so efficiency in a distribution transformer and power transformers is usually between 95 to 99%. Okay, so generally I want to give you information, right? So distribution transformers or power transformers, you will have efficiency between 95 to 99%. Okay, right. So this is the basic formula for the efficiency. V2I2 into cos of theta 2 by V2I2 into cos of theta 2 plus core losses plus copper losses at the current which is flowing in the transformer. Okay. Core losses I have already stated, they are going to remain constant. Okay. Under normal operating conditions, the variation in the mutual flux phi from no load to full load is not more than 2 to 3%. Consequently, the core losses can be assumed constant at all loads independent of the current. This we have already stated. The flux in the transformer core remains practically constant. When the flux remains constant, the core losses which are occurring in the core because of flux flowing in the core also remains practically constant. Okay, so that means 2 to 3% is the only variation whether the load is connected or not. Okay, so that variation is almost like constant we can consider. So that's the reason why core losses in a transformer are going to remain constant from no load to full load. That means this PC is constant. Right. So another loss which is present in the transformer is ohmic loss or copper loss. Right. So the ohmic loss depends on the load current. We have already seen the expression I2 square or E2. Okay. So if IFL is the rated or the full load current, then IFL square into RE is the ohmic loss or copper loss at full load. That is obvious, no? When the current is full load current, then the copper losses are full load copper losses. Right. If your current I full load, that means your current in the secondary winding is only half of the rated value. Okay, then what will happen to the copper loss? That means 1 by 2. Half of full load means 1 by 2 full load. So 1 by 2 full load whole square. If I do 1 by 4 into IFL whole square into R2, which is nothing but copper losses at half of full load. Is it clear regarding these two statements? IFL square into R2 and 1 by 4 IFL square into RE. Is it clear or not? One formula is at full load, another one is at half of full load current. Or any doubt in this? You got it, na? So half of full load means your current is going to be half, so 1 by 2 IFL whole square. So 1 by 2 will become 1 by 4 and IFL square into R2, RE. Right. So this is the formulas for calculating the ohmic loss or copper loss at full load and half of full load. Okay. Right. So once you know this copper loss and the core losses and the output power, so from that you can calculate the efficiency using the formula what we have already seen. Okay. So next thing is condition for maximum efficiency. That means at what load current I should run the transformer such that the efficiency of the transformer will be maximum. That's what it means. Condition for maximum efficiency. That means we are trying to find out what should be the condition such that if I run the transformer at that current, the transformer efficiency will be maximum. Okay. So that condition we are trying to find out. Okay. So in equation 1 above, core loss PC is constant. Okay. V2 is a secondary terminal voltage which is also to be constant. Okay. And for a specific power factor load, if the current I2 is varying, okay, so then we are going to find out the condition. Okay, so in equation 1 above, core loss is constant and the load voltage V2 is practically constant. Okay, so at a specified value of load power factor, that means power factor I'm going to remain fixed, let's say 0.8. Okay, so at what current the efficiency will be maximum, that I am trying to find out. Okay, right. So at what value of current the efficiency will be maximum if cos theta 2 is fixed. That condition I am trying to find out. So the efficiency will be maximum when you have to differentiate the above equation with respect to I2 and equate the result to 0. Then you will find out the condition at which your maximum efficiency will be there for the transformer. Okay, so try to differentiate equation 1 with respect to I2 and equate the result to 0. This is equation 1, V2 I2 into cos of theta 2. So except current I2, remaining everything we are assumed to be constant. Okay, so V2 is constant. We are operating at a specific power factor, so cos of theta 2 is also constant, and PC is already constant, and RE2 is also constant. Okay, so try to differentiate this equation 1 with respect to I2 and equate the result to 0. Try to do that. Try to find out that condition, differentiating this efficiency expression with respect to I2 and equate the result to 0. You're trying to do that, right?
Yes, sir.
You know how to do, right? Derivative of u by v. Okay, so v into derivative of u minus u into derivative of v whole by v square.
Sir, I2 square V2 cos theta 2 RE2 into 1 minus 2 I2 is equal to 0.
That much. Did anyone other student has tried that? Derivative of u by v, you have to apply, right?
Sir, I2 is equal to PC by 2 RE.
I2 is equals to PC by 2 RE. Anyone else who has got some other answer or similar to this?
Losses are equal, no, efficiency will be maximum.
Okay, so core loss, that means PC is equals to I2 square RE2.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so anyone got some other answer or someone same as this one? Did anyone got that PC is equals to I2 square RE2? Okay, so let's see that. So It's U by V formula you have to apply, right? So V into, this is your V, same thing what is shown in the denominator I have written here, V into derivative of U. Okay, so you are derivating with respect to I2, so it will be V2 into cos of theta 2. Right, V into derivative of U minus U into derivative of V whole by V square is equals to 0. So if you do that, so this entire denominator term will get multiplied with 0 and it is going to become 0, and only numerator will be available. So that one I have written here. I have taken this one onto the other side. So if you observe here now, all terms will get cancelled. Okay, so this V2 into cos of theta 2 will go from here. So then you can multiply I2 with respect to V2. So then this term and this term will also get cancelled. Okay, so when you are multiplying this I2 with 2 into I2 square RE2, okay, so one term will go from this side and this side. So finally you will be left with PC is equals to I2 square RE2. Okay, right. So once you do the derivation, I think you have to shuffle on the both sides and cancel whatever common terms are there. So I hope you should be able to do this. Okay, so if you do that, you are going to get core losses is equals to copper losses. Okay, so this one indicates copper loss and this is core loss. So the condition for maximum efficiency is if you are operating at some current, core losses are fixed. Whether current is flowing or not, it is immaterial to that. So that value is fixed, core loss. But if you set your load such that the current flowing in that produces a drop, that means loss, I2 square RE2, which is equal to the core loss. In that scenario, you are going to get the maximum efficiency. That means output power by input power is going to be maximum at that condition. Okay. Got it. So variable losses in the transformer. Remember, these are variable losses at different currents. Okay, it's not the full load variable loss. Okay. I2 square RE2. It is not IFL square into RE2. Okay. So some current is flowing. At that current, I have calculated the ohmic loss, and I found out that value is exactly equal to the core losses. In that scenario, the efficiency will be maximum. Okay. So this is the condition for maximum efficiency. So maximum efficiency occurs when the variable ohmic loss is equals to the fixed core losses. Right. Okay, so from the same thing, I am trying to, find out what will be the load current at which maximum efficiency occurs. Okay. So it's the same expression, simply I have taken RE2 on the other side and made the root of it. So I2 is equals to root of PC divided by RE2, which is coming from your previous expression. So on the right hand side, if I multiply numerator and denominator with I full load, right? I full load means rated current on the secondary. Okay, so IFL into root of PC divided by I full load square into RE2. Okay, that means the current which corresponds to maximum efficiency of the transformer is some fraction of your full load current. That fraction is root of PC divided by full load copper losses. Got it, na? So the current which is corresponding to give maximum efficiency in the transformer is some fraction of your full load current. That fraction is this one, root of PC divided by full load copper losses. Here it is IFL square into RE2. Okay, coming from the previous expression what we have already seen. Okay, so I2 is equals to some N into IFL, with that N is nothing but this one. Got it? Right, so if we divide the previous expression, that means this above this expression with E2 by 1000. Okay, so you are going to get this thing. Why I am doing E2 by 1000 is now I am trying to find out kVA for maximum efficiency. current corresponding to maximum efficiency is given by this expression. I2 is equals to IFL whole square into PC by copper losses, full load copper losses. Okay. Similarly, I am trying to find out kVA corresponding to maximum efficiency. Right. So how to do that? kVA means kilo. That's why I'm dividing with 1000, and secondary rated voltage is E2. Okay. So I am simply multiplying this expression with E2 by 1000 on both sides. So if I do that, I am going to get this expression. Okay. This is called as kVA load for maximum efficiency, because I2 is the current which is corresponding to maximum efficiency. That's what we have got here. When I multiply with E2 and divide by 1000, then it becomes kVA for maximum efficiency. So kVA for maximum efficiency is equals to, this is rated kVA now. Why means you are having rated voltage E2 and you are having rated current IFL. Okay, so that is called as rated kVA into root of core losses divided by full load copper loss. So kVA corresponding to maximum efficiency is equals to rated kVA into some fraction n, that n is nothing but PC divided by full load copper losses whole square. That means this expression and this expression are same. Only thing is, this is the current corresponding to maximum efficiency and this is the kVA corresponding to maximum efficiency. Got it? Right. So everything
Yes,
is coming from this expression only, I2 square RE2. Here I2 corresponds to the current at which your maximum efficiency occurs. So from this only we are getting this expression, multiplying with IFL in the numerator and denominator. Once you get that, I am converting in terms of kVA by multiplying with E2 by 1000. You are going to get this. That means kVA corresponding to maximum efficiency is some fraction of your rated kVA. That fraction is given by this root of PC by IFL square into RE2, root of core losses by full load copper loss. Similarly, current corresponding to maximum efficiency is I full load or I rated current into root of core losses divided by full load copper loss. Okay. Right. So these two expressions you have to remember. Right. So I think time is up. Okay, so that's it for today. So tomorrow we'll meet and we'll complete this chapter by tomorrow mostly. Okay. Right. So I think you all can leave now. Okay. Thank you. Thank you all
thank
of
you,
you.
sir.
Thank you.